Hello everybody, it's Alan here again from linkorchard.com. No trees again today. I'm here with Anthony Faiers from Sedo.com. Hello Anthony.
Hi.
Anthony, you've taken us to the rugby pitch here at Leinster's home grounds. I'm surprised you're bringing up rugby at this point.
Yeah, it's a little bit painful, I must admit. It wasn't the World Cup that we in England played for, but you guys did a little bit better than we did. But it's to be in Dublin, it's a nice setting.
For anyone watching, the Rugby World Cup has just been on in the UK, and well, anyway, you can probably fill in the rest. Anthony, we're going to talk about Sedo and domain names today. Can you tell me what Sedo do? On our Sedo?
Yeah, absolutely. Sedo is a search engine for domain names. It's actually in the name.
Right.
So what we do is allow customers who are looking to buy a domain name to come to our platform, search our marketplace, and find the right domain name for them.
Okay, so it's a marketplace for domain names.
Yeah, so
a bit like eBay or something,
if you like. I mean, you can break down our products really into three rough categories. We're there for people looking to buy a domain name. Okay. And then the opposite of that is obviously
sell a domain name.
For the people looking to sell a domain name. Yeah. And also we're there for people who own domain names and maybe not looking to sell them. Okay. But what looking to monetize them. Okay. So we provide what's called a parking service for those. Okay. And parking is essentially a domain name that you own, you're not using, so you can generate revenue through that through advertising. And the users get relevant links and everything, all that sort of stuff. Absolutely. Okay. Right. So that's a little bit of Sedo. It's the eBay for domain names, basically. Now, why would anyone pay over the registration fee for a domain name, Anthony? Can you explain that to us? Yeah, I think I'll just come back to actually what a registration fee maybe is and how that works. So, there are really sort of two broad, we can sort of split buying domain names into two broad sectors. One is, as you mentioned, registering, which is you're looking for a domain name, let's say alan.com, let's say. If only. But that's a good point, isn't it? That, if you're looking to register alan.com, you search. If it's available, you can register it for maybe a couple of dollars a month, something like that. And maybe 25 years ago, it would have been possible. That would have been, But today, it's no longer possible because the number of internet users has obviously increased exponentially since then, and will only increase. As we're seeing here at Web Summit. It's massive. But yet, the number of domain names up until a couple of years ago wasn't increasing. The supply. The supply. Yeah, so .com. It's quite simply the demand is outstripping the supply. So you can't register a domain name anymore. So then the second sort of broad category is actually what we do. And if a domain name isn't available anymore, alan.com is certainly not available anymore. If you really want to have that though, then you can then you can come to our service and use that, and we can try and acquire that domain name for you. Or you can use the platform to search and see if it's available. Right. So a name like alan.com would have a lot of value. It's worth more basically for branding values if it comes on the market. I mean, valuing a domain name is quite a subjective thing, but actually there are a few good golden rules you can go by. Length is certainly one, so the shorter, snappier the domain name, the better. So with 4 letters in alan.com would certainly be a valuable domain name. But just generally, we're here at a startup conference, and while there is very valuable names that are into 6 figures, there's a lot of names that are not worth that much. They're much less. Can you tell us your average selling price on Sedo? I think on Sedo the average sales price is roughly $1,500. Roughly. So startups do not have to pay a huge amount of money necessarily for a reasonably good brand name. But if they want to get something like alan.com or begin.com, that's going to be more. I mean, you can use an analogy, and it's really important when we're talking about startups, and you've talked to many people about it during this exhibition. You're using the internet to make money. That's what we're talking about now, using the internet to earn a living. Generate business, If you're looking to run a business in the real world, in a shop, the most important thing is that your shop is in a prime retail location. By that I mean a high street, lots of people walking by. And the more people that are walking by, the better your location is, the more likely it is that someone's going to go into your shop and purchase something. it's no different in the online world.
Yeah.
And so if you think about your domain as a piece of online real estate, online property, it's just as important to have a name that's it's more likely to generate people arriving, and that means
it's going to give you a competitive advantage with a good name.
Absolutely,
it's going to combine your content with the name to make a bit of magic.
Absolutely, and to come back to your original question, do you have to pay a fortune for this? No,
not necessarily.
Yeah. Obviously, the better your position of your shop, the more money it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of options. There are plenty of options for.
Sorry, this is the Leinster rugby team. Just in front of us here.
It's fully live.
This is so live. Okay.
I'm sure you have no idea what's going on.
I wonder if they got Leinster.com. But anyway,
it's a good question. Maybe we'll ask them.
Maybe we should. We actually could.
They're a lot bigger than me, maybe not.
No,
sorry.
Lost
my thread. Anyway,
so sorry.
You don't have to pay a fortune for a domain. It just does depend.
On the name and on the nature of it. The single words are the best names, like begin.com and things like that.
I mean, just very quickly, just to finish that off. If you go onto Sedo and you look at our marketplace, we have a lot of domains that people put on there with a fixed price.
Yeah.
So you can go on there and you can actually see, average, what a domain's going to cost you. And you will see that you can pick up a domain for a couple of $100 or a couple of $100,000. Yeah. So the choice is there.
It's there. Andy, okay. There's been a major change in the domain space over the last couple of years. Okay, can you tell us a bit about what the new domain extensions that have come in for startups and other businesses?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we touched on that a bit earlier on when I said that the demand for domain names is increasing exponentially, but the supply isn't.
As we're seeing here at Web Summit with the number of startups.
Absolutely, and the supply wasn't there. Actually, what's happened in the last couple of years is that is that ICANN have actually introduced.
So ICANN is the body that runs the domain based on the internet.
That's right. Yeah. So they've sort of let's say allowed people to introduce new endings. So the most common ending at the moment is .com.
Yeah.
You have also .net, so very generic endings, and you also have country-specific endings. So .ie.
.uk. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's actually, but as we were saying earlier, the attractive things, the good names in those TLDs are already taken, and it's quite difficult sometimes for new businesses to find that prime online retailer that we're talking about.
Okay, so that's why ICANN have released all these new extensions.
Yeah, exactly. And, there's a lot coming out.
Well, talk to me about that. I mean, what have we got already? Like hundreds, isn't it? Like
there's a few hundred already out, and
wow.
I think there's going to be around 1,500.
1,600. So there's actually 1,600 dot whatever you can choose.
Yeah.
Will we go through just a few that you like and stuff, or that what type? We have first of all generic ones like .com.
Yeah. So I think
link maybe, or
I mean we've got the .web will be available at some point. .xyz is already available.
It's doing well with the Google change, of course.
Absolutely. So you've got those sort of short, generic, let's say,
could be used by anyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And then you've got more specific ones. So let's say .club.
Yeah.
That's slightly more specific than .xyz or .web.
Yeah. Training you were saying as well.
Yeah, and I think that's like another level above in terms of how specific that is.
Another niche.
So you've got a lot of verticals with a lot of very specific TLDs coming.
Yeah. So you can go. I think good examples now. You've got .online is another generic extension.
Yeah.
And also, I was just talking with Dima there also from Sedo that when you put you might say .online, it's a little flat. But when you start putting the left word with the right word, like say, brilliant .online, it's quite a nice name. Or that name you were saying to me, the media one, did you see a .media?
Yeah, so at the Web Summit here, I was going around talking to some startups, and actually what caught my eye was a few startups that are using the new extensions. Chatting with a chap who's started a company called Begin Media, and he's therefore taken the domain name begin.media.
That's a great use of a new domain,
It's a great use of a new domain. It's a really catchy domain. He's really thought about that because what his product is actually a platform to sort of help young journalists kickstart their careers at the beginning of their media career, begin.media. He's chosen that really well, I think. So it's really interesting talking to these guys using the new
The new extensions, yeah.
Yeah.
One I saw was, what was it, a .social. It escapes me. Anthony, thanks very much for talking to us.
Alan,
We're going to actually go inside. We're going to actually do a review because we have a lot of namers watching. So we're going to actually review the names. They're not going to, with the audio, we're not going to be able to be heard. So Andrew on camera is going to be the key guy. And we just have, there are new startups today in Web Summit. So it's a whole batch every new day. So these are completely new names that we haven't had a chance to see these. But we're going to try and give you a flavour insight. Okay.
So should we get out here before we get tackled?
Yeah, I think we should, Anthony.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
Right then.